Hello and welcome to your NEWSMAX Daily for Wednesday, March 6th, 2024, the 66th day of the year, the first of 4 Wednesdays this month, and the day after Super Tuesday.
I wish there were more people, honestly, on both sides to give us a better choice.
Many Americans had said they didn't want a Donald Trump-Joe Biden rematch in 24, but it looks like that's what we're going to get.
November 5th, it's right around the corner. November 5th is going to go down as the single most important day in the history of our country.
Both the former president and president cruising to victories in all but one contest. President Biden lost the territory of American Samoa to little-known candidate Jason Palmer, and the number of uncommitted voters against Biden is growing. That is something you're going to be hearing about today for sure. Former President Donald Trump won every contest Tuesday except for Vermont, where Nikki Haley scored only her second win, and after promising to stay in the race until at least Super Tuesday wasn't that super for her, and she has suspended her campaign.
In all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee when our party convention meets in July. I congratulate him and wish him well. I wish anyone well who would be America's president. Our country is too precious to let our differences divide us.
So Nikki Haley suspended her campaign, but she did not follow tradition of endorsing the front runner, which was part of the promise to get into the first debate, you may remember. Meanwhile, Donald Trump spoke at an event held at his Mar-a-Lago resort home last night in Palm Beach.
This is a magnificent place, a magnificent country, and it's so sad to see how far it's come and gone. When you look at the depths of where it's gone, we can't let that happen. We're going to straighten it out. We're going to close our borders. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the inflation down. And we are going to make our country greater than ever before. And we're going to do it quickly. We're going to do it quickly. It's going to go fast. We have to get the criminals out. We have many, many criminals that have entered our country. We have people coming in from such bad places, and we're going to have to get them out. We have murderers that are being deposited into our country. We have drug dealers at the biggest and highest levels that are coming into our country. We have people coming into our country that just shouldn't be here, but many, and I say many, large percentages, they come in through the caravans, they come in many different ways. Now we find out again, they come in through airplanes, we send them in. This is crazy. But they come into our country, we're going to stop them. We're going to close our borders. We're going to have to deport a lot of people, a lot of bad people, because our countries can't live like this. Our cities are choking to death. Our states are dying. And frankly, our country is dying. And we're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much. It's been a big night. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Trump senior advisor Jason Miller was there at Mar-a-Lago and spoke with Eric Bolling.
You know, in order to get to that debate stage, she rose her hand saying, I swear whoever the Republican nominee is, I will support them. And now she seems to be backpedaling on that. And the attacks seem to be a little bit more vicious. Take a listen to Nikki Haley blaming Trump for the border and some of the other things, and also being friendly with Putin. Listen.
These are people who want to go and see a secure border, and they don't like the fact that Trump stopped Congress from trying to fix the bill and pass a strong border bill. This is about national security, where we should be preventing war, and Trump said he would stand with Putin as he invaded our allies.
Jason, that sounds more like a Democrat than a Republican to me.
Yeah, and Eric, I get it. When you go and run for president, when you put your name on the line, it's tough to lose like this over and over, which is what Nikki Haley is doing. So I want to extend a little bit of grace and understanding what her and her campaign are going through. But this is much bigger than Nikki Haley. This is about beating Joe Biden in the fall. And with President Trump having such a commanding lead, now is the time that we need to come together. You look at state after state. We've had Virginia and North Carolina called already so far this evening, 13 more to go. This is the time to send the message, hey, Joe, you're fired.
Jason Miller, senior advisor to Donald Trump, live from Palm Beach last night. For more analysis, Trump's former National Press Secretary Hogan Gidley and former GOP presidential candidate Senator Rick Santorum were both on Wake Up America this morning.
Hogan, were you surprised by anything yesterday?
Not really. I think everyone knew that Donald Trump was going to win significantly, and he did. Rick is sitting on some great points with Nikki. No one told her when to get into the race, so it was difficult to tell her when to get out. However, unlike Rick, Nikki Haley didn't win any states. Rick won several states in his bid for the presidency, so there's a reason to stay around. Nikki was getting beaten at every turn. Last night was no exception. Her getting out, though, the indications are right now she has no plans to endorse Donald Trump, is what the early reports say, that she's just getting out. I think that's a mistake. Rick is right for her political future, but it depends on what Nikki wants to do. If she's looking for a contributorship over to a competing network that leans left, maybe she is just fine not endorsing. If she wants to be on a certain board, maybe she can make more money not endorsing. Remember, Ted Cruz didn't endorse at the convention. I was on the floor when he was giving his speech in support of Republican ideology, and when the people on the ground turned around and looked at his teleprompter, they were waiting because they could tell he was coming to the end. When they saw he wasn't endorsing, they booed him mercilessly. However, memories are short, and now Ted Cruz is one of the darlings of the Republican Party, in large part because Donald Trump went from Lion Ted to Beautiful Ted.
Yeah,
and now we're on a new page.
Senator, do you think that so many questions now with this news this morning? Does Trump welcome her back into the tent, particularly if she endorses?
If you look at the speech last night, which I thought hit every point perfectly, I thought the substance of the speech was all about comparing not what I'll do if I'm president, what I did when I was president, what the country went through when I was president versus what it's going through with Joe Biden. So the comparisons were great. There wasn't any spiking of the football. There was no. It was. The best comment I heard was it was all business. It was all business last night, and so the substance was great. But the more important thing in my mind was the tone. It was serious Trump. It was presidential Trump. It was not, playing to the audience and riffing and going off on different rabbit trails and things. It was just serious stuff. And if that is the Trump that we're going to see between now and Election Day, Joe Biden doesn't have a prayer.
Former Pennsylvania Senator and GOP presidential candidate Rick Santorum on Wake Up America this morning with Rob Finnerty and Charla McBride. Reaction from the White House on last night's extended Super Tuesday coverage on N2.
John Bachman here alongside Erin, Perrine. And Erin, you have a statement from the White House.
Yes, he does mention Donald Trump throughout this, but some of the highlights here are tonight's results leave the American people with a clear choice. Are we going to keep moving forward, or will we allow Donald Trump to drag us backwards into chaos, division, and darkness that defined his term in office? Further on in the statement, it says, quote, Donald Trump is determined to destroy our democracy and rip away fundamental freedoms like the ability for women to make their own health care decisions. It's clear Democrats are trying to lay out their playbook right here by making abortion a key issue and threats to democracy, the same playbook we've seen them run in the midterms in 22 and in 20. And yet again, he makes another quote here, pass around billions of dollars in tax cuts for the wealthy. And he says he'll do or say anything to put himself in power. Those tax cuts proportionally help the middle class more, including the child tax credit that has helped families be able to save for college education for their children as inflation has driven up the cost of groceries and the inability for families to save more. Democrats are laying out their playbook right here with President Biden's statement.
One of the things I think is interesting to watch is, as an outsider, neither Democrat or Republican, but the way Democrats are able to get everyone to line up behind their talking points.
John Bachman on last night's extended coverage of Super Tuesday. And outside of the presidential race, the closely watched Senate race in California to fill the seat of the late Dianne Feinstein took another unexpected turn when former MLB star Steve Garvey, a Republican, who you heard in the NEWSMAX Daily yesterday. If you missed it, go back and listen to it. It was a great interview. He pulled in more votes than Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter and now will face Adam Schiff in November's general election.
I feel as excited, as confident, as optimistic as that young boy back in September 1st of 1969 who was called up to the Dodgers, went to the clubhouse, and put a Dodger uniform for the first time, and my dreams came true.
It looks like we're going to the general, ladies and gentlemen.
Adam Schiff spent $39 million to secure the support of his fellow California libs. Garvey said in the interview yesterday that he hadn't spent any money. The consensus is that the Democrats' anti-Republican ad blitz helped elevate the profile of Garvey, who everyone already knows anyway, from his 20-year career with the Dodgers and the Padres. Plus, he's done a lot of work over the years in the community since his illustrious baseball career, and on a side note, a lot of people remember him as one of the first people that the whole country ever got to see in his underwear in those jockey underwear commercials. Yes, it's that Steve Garvey. But getting a Republican in California would be a big deal for Republicans. And Senator Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, the Democrat turned independent, has bowed out of the Senate race there, clearing the field for a two-person, two-party race, with one of those people being Republican Kari Lake, who spoke with Eric Bolling.
Kari Lake joining us right now, Arizona's Senate candidate. Well, I congratulate you. And when I heard Sinema dropped out, Kari, I'll be honest with you, full disclosure, folks, I texted Kari and said, come on, let's talk about this today. I was watching, Kari, the left, the liberals at CNN and MSNBC saying, oh, this is really great for Gallego. I disagree. In a state like Arizona, we have a Republican, Kari Lake, and one Democrat, Gallego, the border becomes so much more important. Tell us why you think this is great for you.
Thank you for having me on tonight, Eric. It is good for us because we saw that when Kyrsten Sinema made 2 or 3 courageous votes to save the filibuster, the left and the Democrats turned on her like a pack of wild dogs. And that's when Ruben Gallego came in and said, we're going to take her down. And the Democrat Party turned on her for doing something that was right. Now, listen, I disagree with Kyrsten Sinema on almost every policy, but I applaud her for her courage to stand up for the filibuster. And we're looking at polling, and we've had many polls that have been done for the entirety of this year, and it showed that she was taking a few more Republican votes than Democrats because the Democrats have gone so full tilt to the left. They're not even Democrats of yesteryear. They are full on, frankly, Marxist radicals. And so we're happy that Senator Sinema is now realizing that she doesn't have a path to victory. We're wishing her the best. We thank her for those courageous votes. And now we are dead set on stopping the communist push of America Democrats to basically destroy our country. Ruben Gallego is for open borders. He says border walls are stupid. He wants everybody pouring across the border to have voting rights to vote in this next election.
Arizona Senate candidate Kari Lake on the balance with Eric Bolling. I mentioned this yesterday because President Biden was meeting with his competition counsel about fees. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau finalized a rule Tuesday that will cut the typical credit card late fee from $32 to $8. The big banks and credit card companies are already pushing back, saying this is government overreach and that it's a big source of revenue for them, and then they would have to make up that revenue in other ways, like maybe raising interest rates even more. So again, if you are responsible and you do the right thing and you pay your bills on time, I mean, we all miss a payment here or there. Stuff happens, right? Generally speaking, if you are responsible, you will end up being punished in the long run, maybe with higher interest rates, so the government can again help protect the people who don't do the right thing. It is so frustrating, like the student loan thing. I mean, why don't they create something like if you pay your credit card bill on time 8 months in a row or for the whole year, then you get a discount instead of continuously helping the people that don't do the right things. Yeah, a $35 late fee is a lot, but then don't be late. And in the credit card company's defense, if you do pay on time regularly and then once in a blue moon you are late, they usually refund that charge to you anyway. Yesterday I mentioned ticket fees and service fees. Then there's all the crazy airline fees. Those are all blatant ripoffs, right? But if you don't pay your credit card on time or your car payment, I mean, that is on you and should be on you. On the White House calendar today, the president has no scheduled events. I can almost guarantee we will hear some comments from him at least once, but there are no scheduled events on the White House calendar. Last but not least, today is National Oreo Day. Not only my favorite cookie, but America's favorite cookie since 1912, well over 100 years. Today is also National Dentist Day, which likely was established long after Americans started eating Oreos and other cookies. If you are a dentist, congratulations. Today is your day, my friend. It is also another super busy news day. Be sure to keep up with all the news on Newsmax and N2 and at NewsMax.com. I'm Tony Marino. Thank you for listening to the Newsmax Daily. Continue to share it with your friends and family. Don't forget it's now available on the Newsmax YouTube and Rumble pages as well. And check out some of the other great Newsmax podcasts at newsmax.com/listen or wherever you get your podcasts. Enjoy the rest of the day, eat some Oreos, and keep on fighting the good fight.
News breaks every minute, every day. You need the app, the Newsmax app. Find it free on your smartphone store. Then watch us anytime, anywhere.
Greg Kelly over at Newsmax. The Newsmax people have been really, really terrific. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions are tired of Fox, and they're switching to Newsmax Plus. It's the fastest growing streaming service in America. You don't need woke Disney and Hulu anymore. Just get Newsmax Plus. Watch the best shows like Greg Kelly, Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, and Eric Bolling. And get incredible analysis from Dick Morris, Alan Dershowitz, Kari Lake, Mike Huckabee, and more. It's free to start. So go to NewsMaxPlus.com now to sign up and watch Newsmax anytime, anywhere.